Rim Country Forum today being brought to you by Banner Payson Medical Center, George Henry Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Anytime Fitness, At Your Service Cleaning and Tree Service, and ITD Group Computer Services. Well, good, finally, Friday morning, coming up on 5 minutes past 9 o'clock, 56 degrees, and yep, it's Friday, so you know what that means. With all kinds of information about movies, some of it's even pertinent. We have with us the hometown movie guys, well, at least most of them. We have Tina and Andy in the studio. Craig's out playing hooky today, and we're getting ready to talk about all things movie today on Rim Country Forum, and we got a lot to talk about, as a matter of fact. First of all, good morning. How y'all doing?
Great.
And greater.
And great and greater.
I'm not even cranky today.
Really?
No, man, it's
What
sunny.
gives?
You know, after the last 2 days, which reminded me of living in Pennsylvania,
Right.
today is just God's country.
Well, I tell you, it only really rained twice this spring. Once for 23 days. But it's been a weird spring. But hey, we're loving the fact that we're keeping the fire season at bay anyway, at least for a little while.
Well, except for people building fires in their fireplaces, which
Yeah.
two of my neighbors, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Yeah, me too.
You?
We
You built one?
We heat completely by wood.
oh wow.
Well, we pretty much do too, but we put on extra clothes and snuggled up to the chows. So
Okay.
So many one-liners, so little time on this.
Yes.
You're clear. Hey, we got a lot to talk about today on Rim Country Forum. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to be asking you about your favorite military movie, for Memorial Day weekend, and so be thinking about that. But right now, I'm going to talk about everything that's going on at the Sawmill Theaters. And boy, I tell you what, got some interesting new stuff. Now, first of all, I'm going to do this in reverse order. Avengers Endgame now has been playing for, 4 weeks, something like that? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And is that still just, banging up the box office?
Number 2 this week.
Number 2, but it's been at the top of the list
Oh, yeah.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
Have they? How many billions of dollars have they managed to muster up so far?
$2,625,000,000.
So they're going to be over $3 billion here before long.
Well, we'll see what happens. We're fans of the series and fans of Avengers Endgame, are hoping that it's going to creep up over the next couple of weeks and end up beating out and becoming the #1 movie of all time.
So that would have to beat out Avatar then, right?
Beat out Avatar, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was a biggie.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're not familiar with
Poor
that,
James Cameron for years now has had the #1 and the #2 highest grossing movies of all time with Avatar and Titanic.
Right.
And Avengers Endgame has edged out Titanic and is creeping up on Avatar. It's
I'll
got-
never let go, I'll never let go.
Got about another $100 million to go, so
Wow.
that's $100 million is still a lot of money. So
Oh, yeah.
we'll see what happens.
well, if you haven't had a chance to see Avengers or don't know about the Avengers Endgame, after the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War back in 2018, the universe is in ruins. With the help of remaining allies, the Avengers assemble once more in order to undo Thanos' actions and restore order to the universe. It's rated PG-13.
And wear long sleeves in case you have to wipe your eyes.
Oh, it's got some sad stuff. Huh?
Oh, we think of this as kind of being one of these just big budget special effects movie, but it is a big budget special effects movie, but it's also a movie that is chock full of just terrific actors, and it's a very tragic situation. Half of the people in the galaxy are extinguished in an instant, literally in the snap of the Thanos' fingers, and they go boom.
Wow.
Half of everybody that is alive gone. So it's a pretty serious tragedy, and we have 20 people in this movie that either have won or have been nominated for Academy Awards.
Wow.
So when you see these people expressing their sorrow at, for instance, having their whole family be wiped out,
They do a pretty believable job.
they do a pretty believable job.
And you've got a pretty stellar review on that in today's Pace and Roundup, don't you?
Nope. I have a pretty stellar review of John Wick.
Oh, John Wick. Oh, that's right.
In today's Pace and
I knew there was a
Roundup.
pretty stellar review of something.
Thank you. And I like the way you phrased that. Yeah, but I certainly did give a good review for the Avengers.
Well, and that takes us to the other one, though, John Wick, which you did just do a fairly stellar review of. And that John Wick 3 Parabellum, super assassin John Wick is on the run, and with a $14 million price tag on his head, he's the target of hitmen and women everywhere. That'd ruin your afternoon. It's rated R, plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. And you like the writing and everything on this?
Yeah, there's a lot of action and not very much connective tissue, but there's enough that.
But if you like a good action flick, it's nonstop probably, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's nonstop, right? Just, I mean, right on through. I diligently tried to do my job as a movie reviewer and keep track of how many bad guys that John Wick greased.
So how?
I don't know. Very quickly it got out of hand, and I couldn't keep track anymore.
Can't even come up with a number of how many took the dirt nap on that one.
Nope.
Anyway, again, it plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. And Tina, you're going to go see that today, right?
Yes, I am.
And now, what did you go see last week, or did you?
I didn't.
Oh, you.
No, I know.
You take
I'm
it
a
after me now, or
scofflaw.
what? Well,
Really?
And I've got a theory that I've been playing around with the John Wick movies,
Mhm.
and I think I'm onto something.
what's that?
John Wick is referred to in all three movies as the Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga?
Baba
Baba
Yaga.
Yaga, which is,
Yeah.
in the movies they describe Baba Yaga, or they translate Baba Yaga as boogeyman.
Oh,
It's a
And
Russian,
it-
or
yeah,
Russian.
Yeah, Slavic, but Russian
yeah.
in particular,
Yeah,
but Slavic in general, yeah.
Right.
And in reality, the Baba Yaga is, in folklore, is a kind of a witch. But it's a sort of a thing that, if you're living in Belarus and you don't want your children to be eaten by wolves, you say, kids, don't go into the woods, the Baba Yaga will get you.
yeah. All right, so interesting. And so,
And I think, because John Wick is unkillable.
right.
I mean, they really were very diligent in their attempts to kill John Wick, and they were unsuccessful, even though they really tried really hard. So I think that John Wick is the physical embodiment of the spirit of the Baba Yaga.
And this is the second week for this at...
Second week, yeah.
And now,
It's doing just fine, by the way.
Keanu Reeves, he's been doing pretty good on a lot of different, in a lot of different movies, and I know Tina loves looking at him, even just in a still picture. But you have some other details on Keanu Reeves this morning too, right?
Yeah, and his dad was a Hawaiian geologist.
And we're talking in real life?
In real life,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
the real life
And
guy.
that's where he gets his Hawaiian name,
And that's where he gets his Hawaiian
which you
names.
pronounce with every single vowel.
That's right, because it's Hawaiian.
Yes.
Keanu.
Keanu. It's Keanu.
Keanu.
Yes, but I'm picky about that because I'm.
You're Hawaiian.
Yeah, well, I'm Kamaina, which is old family. I'm a haole though, a white chick. So that's what they say. Oh, you're a haole chick. Yeah.
The one thing I learned from a very brief visit to Hawaii is there's just a short gap between poi and poo. And that's,
Stop that, man! I was raised on poi. I love poi.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it
just
tastes like library paste.
Yeah, it just kind of makes my mouth water thinking
Yeah,
about that.
really, I know. But it's really, it's really, really good stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
if you have a taste for
If
it,
you're starving to death and...
yeah.
So now, as far as this John Wick 3 Parabellum, do we have any numbers as to how much revenue this puppy has generated so far?
Sure.
And those numbers are? They're here somewhere.
He's the number guy.
There we go. Okay. Made an extra large budget, 55 million.
That's what it cost to make it.
That's what it cost to make it. It's grossed at the box office worldwide 110 million. So
They're about break even then.
right at this point, it's a break-even point, so they're not losing money.
After a week, that's not bad.
But, yeah, after a week, that's not bad. But going forward, the profits will just start pouring in. And this will be
Blockbuster.
Well, the producers will be very happy.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Now,
But boy, he has done a lot of stuff too. And Tina, I don't know if you remember Kenneth
Branagh.
Branagh. His
wipe
ver-
off that microphone
Yeah.
now.
his
He's a
version,
Scotsman.
his version of Much Ado About Nothing.
I do,
And
and
I
I love
love
that.
it. Oh, me
Yes,
too.
I do.
Oh.
That's a sparkling rendition of,
The-
my boy,
Yeah.
William Shakespeare.
Yeah, Billy the Shake did a
Oh,
great job on it.
Billy the Shake.
And you watch this, and you're watching a 500-year-old script in this play, and laughing.
Yeah,
I mean, it is just really funny. And Keanu
yes,
is in the movie, which
Yes,
I
he is.
didn't realize.
yes, he is.
I remember Denzel Washington,
Right.
but I didn't remember, and Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
but
Now,
I
how
did-
old is that movie?
Oh, it's pretty old.
I was gonna say, this must have been Keanu before anybody knew who he was,
Well,
right?
Yeah.
he's sort of, he's kind of the Zen master shadow guy. I mean, he does movies.
1993.
Oh, 93, wow, yeah. Yeah, no, that's, and I mean, Kenneth Branagh has done some amazing Shakespeare stuff,
Huh.
yeah.
Well, that sounds interesting. Check that out. Now, one of the other movies that's playing right now at the Sawmill Theaters, I believe it's the second week for this one too, is A Dog's Journey. A dog finds the meaning of his own existence through the lives of the humans he meets. Basically, a story about how, dogs don't live long, they pass away, and then this story kind of based around the theme of they're kind of reincarnated into another dog and come back into your life again. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a heartwarming twist. Have either of you seen this one yet?
No,
No.
Okay.
But by all reports, this is, as you say, particularly heartwarming. And, just a kind of a wonderful sort of a thing if you want to go get your,
your heart
Your
warmed.
pet fix.
get your heart warmed.
Well, the thing, I think, we
Now,
all...
we all want to have our heart warmed now and again.
Yeah, among other things. But,
Do a good Chianti and a few fava beans.
anyway...
That's a movie reference, come
Yeah,
on.
there you go. The thing about, our pets is, I mean, they become real parts of the family. And of course, I think, anybody that's had a dog, they're only around for a few years and then they're gone. And it's like saying goodbye to a family member. So this is kind of a nice train of thought anyway of, hey, that German Shepherd may have passed away and now you've went out and got yourself a Chihuahua, but actually it's the same dog, just coming back to warm your heart that much more. And if you want to check that out, again, it plays at 1, 4, and 7 o'clock, rated PG, so good for the whole family. Well, we've got a couple of new movies also playing at the Sawmill Theaters. We're going to tell you about those, and also going to be asking a little bit the question of, what's your favorite military-themed movie? Be thinking about that. We want to find out what you're thinking. Right here. Welcome back to Rim Country Forum, 19 minutes past 9 o'clock, 57 degrees, looking for a high today right around 71. More about weather coming up in a little bit. Meanwhile, this morning, as we do on Fridays, talking with the hometown movie guys, and I want to also just mention that there's 2 new movies starting at the Sawmill Theaters today. The first is called Brightburn, and they say, what if a child from another world crash-landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a hero to mankind, he's proved to be something more, or far more, sinister. It's rated R, plays at 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30. What do we know about this one?
Really, really low budget. I'm going to be going to see this this afternoon.
Right.
$6 million budget.
Wow, that is...
And the setup is, what if little young Superman, as an elementary school kid, doesn't like being pushed around and bullied by the other kids?
Open up a can of whip butt.
That's right. Yeah, he got superpowers, and we had a similar sort of a thing with, but not in a grim way. With a movie here just recently, Come to Me Perhaps or Perhaps Not, where a kid had superpowers. He's a 14-year-old kid, Shazam!
All right.
That's what it was. The 14-year-old kid gets superpowers in an adult body, but he's still, a 14-year-old kid. It kind of, as you know, how they are. And this
I
one,
vaguely remember.
this one, the story, and from what I've seen from the trailers, the kid is in elementary school, and it's kind of the Superman story. But what if he's
What if he's not a real nice guy, huh?
Well, in the maturization process, you have to learn how to control your emotions. And, you know, what if you have superpowers that no emotional control? I don't know.
Woohoo, great fun at parties.
Well, this could be, you know, some bad stuff going on.
Interesting. Now, this is rated R, so it's not one to take the kids to, but again, plays at 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30. Sounds like an interesting plot twist on that.
Yep, and Elizabeth Banks plays the mom.
Oh, is that right?
Yep, and I like her, so.
What other movies has she been in that we would recognize?
Well, she was in the Hunger Games movies.
Oh, okay.
She played Effie, somebody or other,
Oh,
very
yeah.
dramatic
Yeah,
or
yeah.
flamboyant role. And she did a role in, I can't think of the name of it now, but the story about the authoress of Mary Poppins. She played in that too.
Yeah.
Very
Kind of a
interesting.
biography of.
Right.
So, yeah, accomplished actress, and, and I like her, so that'll be good.
Well, boy, and only a $6 million budget to produce it. That is, I mean, by today's standards, I don't have $6 million in my wallet, but, I mean, by today's standards, that's a really low budget.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll see, and I hope it has a little more to it than, you know, just some kind of scary sort of a thing.
Right.
But we'll see.
Now, one of the other movies that's starting today that has been getting a lot of publicity anyway on television is Aladdin. And let's see, PG, a kind-hearted Arabian street urchin and a power-hungry grand vizier vie for a magic lamp that has the power to make the deepest wishes come true. Rated PG, plays at 1, 4, and 7, and all times are played in both 2D and 3D, so if you want to check it out in 3D, you can. Looking at the trailer, it looks like it's, you know, I mean, first of all, you got Will Smith playing the part of Aladdin, and...
No, he's the genie.
Or the genie, actually, well, yeah, that's right, because it's Aladdin's lamp, so the genie is... What's the genie's name? Genie?
I don't know if the genie has a name.
Interesting. Well, anyway, it looks like an interesting flick, and people flying around on magic carpets and
Sure.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, this is Disney is going through the process now of doing live-action versions of its animated films.
Right, and some of the same music that you remember from the animated
Boy,
Aladdin.
I sure hope so, because in the animated version of Aladdin, it's just had some great music in there. When the two realize, the princess and the street kid realize that they're in love, they go off on a magic carpet, and the song is a whole new world.
And I saw in the trailer that they're still singing that song.
Well, that's great, because that was a fabulous moment.
And obviously they've re-recorded it, I think they have different people doing the music, but it looks like it'd be fun to, you know, take the kids to, and just fun to go see yourself. Looks like a lot of eye candy in this. Do we know how much they spent to make this?
Well, it's kind of the opposite of Brightburn. They spent $183 million, so this is a huge,
Wow.
huge Disney production.
100, wow, that's amazing. And so it will be interesting to see the, you know, how long it takes for them to get the you know, return on investment, but man, that's a lot of money on a movie.
Yeah, well, it's Disney. They've got plenty of money, and Disney. This is going to be like the year for Disney in the movies,
And
because they've gobbled up some of these other studios.
Right, and isn't this the time of year now with kids getting out of school and everything that we see more of these kinds of movies in the
Yep.
theaters?
Right.
Memorial Day weekend, we're starting it off.
Yee, all right. And now, is this one you plan to go see, Tina?
It's not high on my list right now.
Right.
No.
Well, other than, what is high on your list?
Oh, John Wick, you know.
I see some bad guys get greased.
Yeah. Well, and you know, my one crankiness with Keanu is that I don't like the long hair. I think he, you know, somebody who is of that sort of, you know, military, martial arts, short hair would be better, you know, all the.
Can't grab it.
Huh?
Can't grab it.
Well, exactly, yeah. But, I mean, I'm a big fan of his, in his personal life as well as a movie star, because he's very non-celebrity, self-effacing, and really there's one movie that he's been in that I think nobody but my husband and I have seen. It's called Tune In Tomorrow, with Keanu, Barbara Hershey, and the wonderful, the late, great Peter Falk.
Wow.
And playing a wonderful character named Pedro Carmichael. And it's hysterical, and you can't even find it.
What's it called again?
Tune in tomorrow.
And how long ago was this made?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Wow.
it's at least 20 years old.
Huh.
Yeah, but Peter Falk, Columbo,
Right?
he's hysterical. He's just delightful.
Interesting. So again, if you, first of all, if you want to see what's playing at the Sawmill Theaters, you can always check out what's playing and when it's playing by just logging online to sawmilltheaters.com, or you can give them a call at 602-377-0719. Again, Aladdin, Brightburn, A Dog's Journey, John Wick 3, Parabellum, and Avengers Endgame all playing. And yeah, it's be a good weekend. Maybe, if you're like me and, on these holiday weekends, I'd rather not, be out on the roads or in the campgrounds. It'd be a great weekend to go to the theater and check out a good movie.
Yeah.
Yep,
There
there you
you
go.
Yep.
And another movie that Keanu was in was Dangerous Liaisons.
Oh, yes, he
Which-
was with Malkovich.
Yeah, which
Yes.
is one of the most heart-wrenching movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Boy,
Yeah.
and it's because the actors are so just absolutely terrific.
Yeah, and that's originally a French story.
Yeah.
Les Liaisons Dangereuses.
Well, and
They made it in French.
and what is it with the misery of the French people? I mean, Les Miserables and all of that. I mean, that's another
They
tragic.
make good comedies too. They
Do
make
they?
some really, really bubbly, frothy comedies.
They make you want to go wee wee. All right, and, sorry, it's a French.
Oh, mon
thing.
Dieu, mon Dieu.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Tout à l'heure, mon Dieu.
But Glenn Close, Michelle Pfeiffer,
Yes.
Uma Thurman
Yeah.
are in that,
It's a
and
great cast.
as you say, John Malkovich.
Malkovich.
John Malkovich.
Yeah.
And Jiminy Christmas, does that just break your heart?
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Woo.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hey, speaking of
Yeah.
breaking our heart, if we don't hurry up and get to the phone, we're going to lose one. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Thanks for calling.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
America's Sweetheart.
indeed. Thank you. I love that movie.
So, caller, what was it about that you liked the most?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm right there with you. I mean, I could watch Sandra Bullock silently read the phone book and be thoroughly entertained. So.
And
Yeah.
caller, did you catch one called Sweet November? Okay, that's Keanu and Charlize Theron. Another love story, well, in this case, a tragic, doomed love story because of illness on the part of one of the characters. But just really terrific acting, and you just feel so sad for him.
I'm going to have to go check out The Lake House. Now, how long ago did that movie come out, caller? Do you know?
Yeah, 2006.
2006,
Wow.
yeah. How
Time just
flies.
scoots by, doesn't it?
Yee.
I have to check that one out. I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
that.
it really is.
Oh, I think you'll like it, yeah.
Very interesting. Hey, we got to take a fast break. Thank you for the call, by the way. And we've got to take a fast break, get you caught up on today's weather. When we come back,
And-
asking the question of, what is your favorite military movie? What do you think the best military movie of all time was? With Memorial Day weekend, it just seemed like
Yes.
a timely thing to ask. So be thinking about what's your favorite military movie. And we have another caller on the line already. We're going to find out what's on their mind. Welcome back to Rim Country Forum, coming up on 27 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 58 degrees right now. And again, this morning on Rim Country Forum, talking with your hometown movie guys. We've got Tina and Andy in the studio with us. Craig's got the day off today, but at least from here anyway. And again, our question, because of the Memorial Day weekend, asking you, what's your favorite military movie? And we'll just leave that open-ended. It could be the military from like, this century, last century, centuries ago, whatever. What's your favorite military movie? We do have a caller on the line. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hey, happy Friday to you too. How's life?
You're quite welcome.
You know, my colleague has a way with words. A turn o' the phrase.
There you
Yes.
go. Gotta love it.
Mhm.
You have not seen that yet? Really see that. I'm gonna try to find Tune In tomorrow. Now, Keanu Reeves, his name kind of means breeze over mountains or some such. And he was named after his uncle, but his great-great-uncle was Keanu, what you call it.
And they're all vowels, right? Yeah, or just about, 11 and a half of them are vowels. Right, right.
Oh, there's a good one, yeah.
Oh, indeed, yes. Yep,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's on my list, definitely, yeah. Yeah.
I hadn't
yeah,
thought of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
Oh,
morning,
yeah.
Vietnam.
Oh, yes, yes, thank you for that, that's definitely
That is
a
a-
wonderful, wonderful.
That is a great one.
Yeah, there's a great line in that where Robin Williams is being taken to task by some ramrod stiff officer, and the officer who is superior to the ramrod stiff officer says, "Give it a rest, it's only radio."
Yeah.
That should be our motto, I think.
All right, Al, hey, thanks for the phone call. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
some good points there. And asking you, what's your favorite military-related movie? And since we asked the question of Tina coming into the studio this morning, you've already put together quite a lengthy
Got
list
about
of your
30
favorites.
of them, yeah.
There's
Well, Dr. Strangelove, I mean, really
Oh.
that's in my
Slim
top 10.
Pickens.
Oh, Slim Pickens, and riding that bomb down to the the strains of "We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know where."
That guy's a real blast.
Yeah, and then some Lone Survivor, and American Sniper.
Yeah,
Um,
Lone Survivor was pretty grim, but boy, was
Yeah.
it well done.
Oh
Ooh,
man, that was
boy.
amazing. And then Black Hawk Down.
Oh, Black Hawk Down, yeah, and that's a tragic,
Yeah.
true story. We have another caller on the line, 23 in front of the hour. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Thanks for calling.
Most appropriate movie for Memorial Day is probably Saving Private Ryan.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Adventure movie with the Apocalypse Now.
So let me ask you the
Oh,
question,
yes.
do you like the smell of napalm in the morning? Good answer, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
No, but, well, first of all, thank you for your service, but you feel that Apocalypse Now was a pretty accurate representation of the kind of things that you experienced when you were in Vietnam?
right.
Well, I tell you, I think you got it right on the head there. Saving
Yeah.
Private Ryan was a fantastic movie.
And what's really interesting about Apocalypse Now is it's actually a retelling. It was Francis Ford Coppola, and it was a retelling of Joseph Conrad's novel Lord Jim.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, that's a, oh, no, I'm
Heart
sorry.
of Darkness.
Heart of Darkness, my
Heart of
bad.
Darkness.
Yeah, they did make Lord Jim, but Heart of Darkness, yeah. And Joseph Conrad was really interesting. English was not his first language, but he wrote just exquisitely in English.
Well, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate the phone calls. Great points, and I love the comparison to some of the the personal experiences our caller had. That's outstanding. When it comes to
I was talking about Saving Private Ryan, which was
Right.
an incredible movie and wonderful on every aspect of it. It's one of those movies that is perfect. It cannot be improved upon.
And as we've talked
Yeah.
about here many times, I mean, the toughest scene in the whole thing, and there's a lot of rough stuff at the very end where years later he's standing
Yeah.
in front of the grave of people that sacrificed their lives to save him, and
Yeah.
asking his wife, did I live a life worthy of
Yes.
their sacrifice? I mean, that's just profound stuff. Another caller on the line, 20 minutes in front of the hour. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning.
Wasn't a big Oscar winner or anything, but Taking Chance was a good Memorial Day.
Taking Chance?
Yeah.
And who was in that?
Oh,
Well, he's in every movie, isn't he?
no. Oh,
Wow.
wow.
I have to check that. I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
that.
I don't
How
think
long
I've
ago did that come out? Do you know roughly, caller? Right.
Oh.
Boy, that would be.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out. Thanks. And of course, Memorial
Yeah.
Day. That does sound like it would fit perfect with
Yeah.
the theme. So thanks very much for the phone call. And
Well, and speaking of snipers,
Right.
as I was,
Right.
we've got American Sniper, which is a true story.
Right.
And then another true story was Enemy at the Gates.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, come on, help me out here, Andy. He was a Russian sniper who
Mhm.
was legendary. And it was just, I've seen that movie probably 10, 15 times. I love that movie.
who's in that? Actors?
Yeah, yeah. I haven't brain fade, but I will look it up. So-
Interesting. And while you're doing that, we'll go back to the phones. 19 in front of the hour. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning.
Postman.
Hi there.
My way of thinking of two top ones would be The Longest Day
Mm.
and Tora Tora.
Oh, Tora,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we agree.
And that was Tora. That was like late 60s, if I remember correctly.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
But and
Mid-70s, I think.
mid-set really.
Uh-huh.
Now I don't know.
Check it
I'm mixed up now.
So what was it about Tora caller that really got your interest?
He's gone.
Ah, another one rides the bus.
I know who was in the Enemy at the Gates, Jude Law.
Oh, Jude Law.
Yes,
All right.
he played the main character.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And the German sniper was,
The German sniper. I can't remember.
She'll work on that. We'll go back to the phones. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hi there. How you doing?
Yeah, the German sniper is Kevin Costner.
Oh, Kevin Costner.
Ah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What I'm calling in about, totally for war movies, is Zulu.
Oh, yeah.
oh, boy, yes.
Yes.
Wow, interesting. And how old is that movie, would you guess?
Yes.
Wow, a young
Yes.
Michael Caine.
Yes.
Huh.
And really striking.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just a really terrific movie, too. That's a good addition to our list here.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
You've never seen that?
No.
Oh, yeah,
man.
Rorke's Drift.
Yeah.
Is absolutely legendary in British military history.
Right.
More Victoria Crosses at that little battle of Rorke's Drift than at one time, in one incident than ever in British history.
Wow.
I mean, it was just heroism on top of heroism, just amazing courage.
Very interesting.
And back to Enemy at the Gates, it was actually not Kevin Costner, it was Ed Harris.
Ed Harris,
Ed
that's
Ed
right.
Harris was no, I mean, no, and
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're right about, I think, I'll have to look that up, but I was just looking up Enemy at the Gates. You really need to see that.
And I like
maybe
Ed
haven't
Harris,
seen-
too,
Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
Very
It's
interesting.
really good.
Hey, thanks for the call. Interesting stuff. I'm making a list of movies that I need to go see, and I like the fact that these are all ones that I can probably find on Netflix
Yeah,
somewhere.
you can.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
there are two movies that both of which made me cry for the same
You
reasons.
cry here during commercials sometimes.
I'm very sensitive, like the Alan Alda.
Yeah.
And for the same reason, in both of them, incredible doomed courage. And one of them, Gallipoli,
Yes.
with
With
a young Mel Brooks.
No, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, I'm sorry.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
There's a comedy version of Mel Brooks. They're all sitting around this campfire.
Yeah, Mel Gibson, I'm sorry.
Mel Gibson, yeah.
Young Mel Gibson, and they just
Yeah.
terrible
And a
tragedy.
true story.
Wow.
And true story, and another true story, and also terrible tragedy, Glory,
Yes.
Right.
where the 54th Regiment of Massachusetts is just obliterated in a doomed charge in the Civil War.
You know, that brings to mind back, let's see, about 40 years ago, Bill Thompson, who a lot of people that have been around Arizona for a long time would remember as Wallace of Wallace and Ladmo. He, my business partner, and I, and Sharon Kelly, who was the producer-director of the Wallace and Ladmo show, we all flew back to Newmarket, Virginia, and did a 5-camera live shoot on a Civil War reenactment that was done there. And they had like 1,500 people on either the Confederate or the Union side. And they, according to the history accounts, historical accounts, at such and such a time, this regiment made a charge, and then cannon blasts from the other side wiped out, X number of them, et cetera, et cetera. But to be out on the actual battlefield where it took place and have it being reenacted right in front of you, timed out to the historical accounts and everything. If you ever visit the Newmarket Battlefield Museum, about 60 miles west of Washington, D.C., it's been 40 years ago. I'm hoping that they got a new video by now, but that used to be playing in the theater there. But that Civil War, the battle tactics back then were so archaic in a lot of ways, where you're just drawing lines and shooting at each other, and I mean not a lot of guerrilla warfare going on with those folks. But that was an amazing thing to watch. Obviously not a movie, but just the change in technology and tactics from then till now is certainly amazing. When it comes to the one caller that called in and was mentioning Apocalypse Now being, kind of reminding him of his personal experiences that he had in Vietnam, I would think two other movies that would probably be, they're difficult to watch, I would imagine, if you've been in places like that. One is Platoon, and the other is Hamburger Hill.
Yeah.
And especially with that whole, okay, we're going to keep on pushing forward until we take up to this, this particular place, and then the next day we're going to retreat back, and then a couple days later, they just keep going back and forth over the same area. That would have to really be demoralizing in a lot of ways, and there was a lot of that in the Vietnam War, and I would imagine that that just adds to all that much more to the trauma that everybody had to endure.
Well, and really, when we're talking realistic stuff, the one that Andy and I saw, the World War I revitalized by Peter Jackson.
They Shall Not Grow
They Shall
Old.
Not Grow Old. That
yeah.
was absolutely, I was so sad that not enough people saw that, to be able to realize what went on in World War I.
Is that, do we know if that's destined to come out on DVD anytime soon or
Well,
anything?
I'm sure it will
I
eventually.
would
yeah.
think,
It
yeah.
might already be out now.
I really wanted to see that.
That
I
is
didn't.
one of the most compelling movies I've ever seen.
And that's
of any
actually,
genre.
that's actually real footage
Real
that they've
footage,
colorized
yeah.
and wow.
And added dialogue, and done it
They
in
even
such
did
a
lip
way.
reading to figure out what people
Yes.
were saying and fill in
Yeah.
the dialogue, right?
And done it in such a way that it was not, sweetie pie, some colorization and some, is to me kind of offensive.
Mhm.
But it was like bringing these guys alive.
Hmm.
And you got to see, these long dead young men. And World War I, was the war to end all wars.
Well, and then the battle tactics back then, I mean, there was a lot more
Well, the
gas
gas,
and
oh,
stuff, yeah, it was
yeah,
horrible
yeah.
stuff. We have to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna find out a little bit more about what's your favorite military movie. Give us a ring, 474-2427, back with more. All right, we've just had one of those aha moments here in the studio. Andy just mentioned, what about Catch-22?
Yes,
Yeah, Mike
Art
Nichols.
Garfunkel.
Yep.
Right,
And one of my favorite books, which I think Mike Nichols made into quite a good movie. And I was going to be real picky, and I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was just spectacularly well done.
Yeah.
9.5 minutes in front of the hour. Hi, you're on Room Country Forum. Thanks for calling. Hi. Very good. How are you?
John
Oh,
Wayne.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Um, Is that right? Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so he just completed that recently? Wow, outstanding. Well, thank him for his service. And at the Green Beret, the song from that, and I don't remember who, the main theme song from that movie, I don't remember who it is that sang it, but I remember, it's weird how all of a sudden something said will trigger you back to a memory. I remember as a kid, back in the mid-'60s, we would go to the FOP pool in Phoenix, the Fraternal Order of Police. My dad was a cop, and we would go there. And I remember they had that playing on the outside sound system
Really?
there. Weird how those memories just pop back in. But I remember that movie. But I remember the song from it too. It was a very popular one.
Sergeant, somebody wrote it.
Yeah, Sergeant somebody. Sergeant somebody sang it. I think it was a military person. We have Don Klein in the background here, our camera operator. By the way, you can actually watch what we do in here on Friday mornings. I keep wanting to say this and I keep forgetting, but if you ever want to go online, you can go to Don Klein on Facebook. Just try and Google up Don Klein on Facebook, and you'll see videotape of what we do here on Fridays
Don
with the
Klein Channel.
Don
the
Klein
Don.
Channel.
Look for the Don
Yes,
Klein
and then
channel
that's CLINE.
On YouTube.
on
Yes.
YouTube. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So
And congratulations, ma'am, that's fabulous, and something like 2 out of 100 that begin the Green Beret process actually end up being successful. So
That's amazing.
That's really a tremendous thing.
That's right up there with like,
Barry Sadler.
from the
Barry
Army standpoint,
Sadler.
Green Beret, but from the
Sergeant Barry
naval
Sadler.
standpoint, the
SEALs.
the Navy SEALs
Yeah.
are, pretty somewhat equivalent. I imagine they would all like to duke it out as far as who's the best there. But-
Now, no discussion of military movies would be complete without Patton.
Ah, yes.
George C. Scott.
Yeah, that was epic.
That's just
And of course, I mean, Patton himself was
Yeah.
pretty epic.
Yes, yeah.
But the movie certainly, but an
Right.
interesting story all the way around. Patton. I haven't seen that in a while. That was what, 70s?
I think so.
I'm guessing something like that.
Yeah.
A while back anyway.
Yep.
7 minutes in front of the hour. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Hi there.
Yes,
Barry Shadler.
Barry Shadler.
And he was like a sergeant, a military guy, right? Oh, we lost that caller already. Barry Shadler. Wow. That takes me way back.
So
More modern movie, The Hurt Locker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, I
Almost excruciating to watch.
Yeah, I thought that was the best war movie ever made.
Wow. The Hurt Locker. So there's, when you start talking, and
It's about a guy that defuses IEDs.
right?
Yeah.
Nothing more intense than that. And the movie really reflects that.
Boy, interesting stuff. When we asked
Jeremy Renner is who's gone on, that was one of his early roles, and
Right.
he's gone on to he's a major star now.
It's amazing when we talk about the subject of favorite military movies. I mean, boy, it seems like the list is almost endless. And let's go back to the
Well,
phones.
there's lots of movies.
That's right. Hey, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Very good. How are you?
Great, thank you very much. What about the movie The Killing Field?
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness, now you're talking. That is one of the most poignant and compelling movies. You don't see it very often, and I'm of the opinion that if a lot of the young people today who are just goo-goo gaga over socialism and communism were to see that movie, they might think differently. And it starred a doctor in it, Dr. Hang S. Noir, I can't remember his name, but he was a real person who lived through the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot. It's an extraordinary movie. Thank you for bringing that
And
up.
what part of the movie, made it a favorite for you, caller?
The sound effects that they had through there when they were down into the jungles and he was trying to, I'm gonna say, cover him with his own body.
Yes.
So, that was just, it just makes my skin crawl to this day.
Boy, I hear you. You know, and the folks that you talk to that were over there in Vietnam, most of them don't really even like to talk about the experience. They're just trying to, kind of tuck it away. But when you do hear about it, some of the things that our guys had to endure, just really astounding, for lack of perhaps a more appropriate term. But it really all revolves around the reason why we asked the question today, because with Memorial Day, I mean, when you look at the numbers of people that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we take for granted. I mean, it's so easy to just take for granted, oh, I need to go to the store, oh, I got to go to school, I got to go to work, this, that, other thing, and things that just seem so mundane to us. In many countries around the world, they can't even fathom the lifestyle that we live in and the freedoms that we enjoy. And of course, those freedoms aren't free, and that's what Memorial Day is all about. And that's why we're asking the question today of your favorite military movie.
Well, and thank you, caller, for bringing that up, because it was a true story.
Right.
It was based on the life of Dith Pran, who was an actual Cambodian caught in that horrible situation with Pol Pot.
Wow.
And we have to keep in mind too that the Khmer Rouge, the Red Cambodians, the
Right.
communists, the Communist Party of Cambodia was founded by university students
Yes.
in Paris.
Yes.
So the Cambodia, where they, in a period of about 6 months, the communists killed about a third of the people
Yeah.
who lived in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they were, in the depths of their being, they were French intellectuals.
Yep.
So remember that. If you want to turn your country over to intellectuals who have a concept, and they are willing to do anything to fit people into their concept, this is what ultimately happens.
It's got
Yeah.
some very relevant overtones in today's world as well.
It does indeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another caller on the line, only about another minute and a half to go here, so we're going to have to hurry. Hi, you're on Rim Country 4, and thanks for calling. Oh, Inglourious Basterds, that was a good
You are
one.
so right. Oh my gosh, yes.
And that, I mean, that had I don't know, it was a different sort of twist on a
Brad
military movie.
Pitt. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yes, he was so good.
Yeah, good stuff. It was
Yeah.
a fun movie.
Yeah. And let's mention Valkyrie.
Oh, there you
with,
go.
With Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Another true story.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I've gone the whole hour and haven't even mentioned, because a lot of times when we're thinking about
Classic movie.
when we're thinking, we got to, when we're talking about movies, I was going to say, military movies, I was going to say, normally I always talk about Braveheart, because we're thinking now about more like First World War, Second World War, and that kind of thing.
Or the Fighting Seabees.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But we do, real quick before we run out of time, there is a classic movie Saturday, the first Saturday of the month at the Sawmill Theaters, and of course that's a week from tomorrow. And the featured classic movie is?
My Fair Lady
Ah.
with Audrey Hepburn and the great Rex Harrison.
All right.
Starting extra early at 9
Yeah, it
a.m.
starts
because
at
it's
9 because
extra
it's
long.
long.
And you get
Yeah.
in for $5.
Yeah.
And it's 3 hours long,
Yeah.
and there will be a short intermission, so you can, take a potty break or whatever you need to.
But yeah, classic movie. Please, 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 Rim Country, show
Well,
up.
what a great thing. I mean, plan on a week from tomorrow, getting down to the Sawmill Theaters, watching the classic movie starting at 9 a.m., and then knowing that, hey, when you get out, it's time for lunch. We've got a lot of nice restaurants right around there that you can go grab a bite to eat at and check it all out at the Sawmill Theaters. Again, you can see them online and everything that they have have going on at sawmilltheaters.com. Well, we certainly appreciate our hometown movie guys being with us this morning, and of course appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate our sponsors that make it all possible. So a big vote of thanks to our friends at Anytime Fitness, ITD Group Computer Services, At Your Service Cleaning and Tree Service, George Henry Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, and Banner Payson Medical Center. You're listening to Rim Country Radio, KMOG Payson, coming up on 10 o'clock, 58 degrees right now, looking for a high of 71. Looks like